Hi, I'm Danny Glover, and you're watching Joburg Today.
How safe is your neighborhood? The safest in town? Or what about safe enough to command special insurance premiums? The community of Sharonlea Suburb in the north of the city say they've achieved just this. Marisa has the story.
Well, we've had no incidents, so from my point of view, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this neighbourhood at all.
I've lived here for 18 years and he's lived here for 15. So we've never had any issues or anyone complain about it being not safe.
Central Sharonlea hasn't fallen victim to mass development, making it a very accessible community for commuters, appealing to all ages across the board because of the local schooling, and of course an extremely safe community with the proactive work that's been done by all the residents and the Greater Sharonlea Residents Forum.
Sharonlea experiences probably 1/10 of the crime on the neighbouring areas around Sharonlea at the moment.
We only refer to the northern suburbs where we are. We have Olivedale, we have Sundowner, we have North Riding, we have all these areas around us who have their own associations. And they all go to a police forum meeting once a month. And these statistics come out at that meeting. And our statistics are virtually non-existent. Nothing to report is what we say.
I took over Sharonlea last year in November. From that time until now, I actually received only one call from a client who was inquiring on claiming.
Take 28 days before they...
I have to consider not only my client's safety, but the safety of their cars. And I wouldn't be able to do what I do if I was in a different neighborhood that didn't have the wonderful facilities that we have in Sharonlea. I always feel safe, and I often work until quite late at night, and I have to let my clients out in the dark, but I know that there's cameras and I know they're looking after me.
Typically that I could walk with my son in the street and my wife, and we've got absolutely no, you have people running around here, and there's very few things actually happening here. So it's very much like living in a state, but just living in a normal resident suburb.
We've got children playing in the streets, riding their bicycles, walking their dogs. So it's really back to the good old days, and it's nice to feel that you're being looked after, as it were.
But around 20 years ago, crime was rife in Sharonlea.
Because Sharonlea was almost a buffer for the areas to the west. And the initial way of trying to control crime was with booms at the entrances. Then we found that the crime behind the booms, after 2 or 3 years, was as great as it was in the first place. So we need to put a better system in place. Cameras was the obvious one.
The first implementation started 9 years ago. We put, at that time, basic digital cameras. Sharonlea took the decision to go digital from the outset. So we had 6 cameras across a wireless network. From that time, the system has grown to a total of 81 cameras currently. We now have a complete wireless and fibre mesh, a mixture of the two technologies within the suburb, connecting the different types of technology to the recording system, which is now based within the suburb.
The Greater Sharonlea Residents Forum makes sure its system stays up to date with the latest technology.
We have a mixture of 2 megapixel, 4 megapixel ANPR number plate recognition cameras, as well as thermal cameras. With regards to the recording side of it, due to the advancement in technology, we're now able to record on camera, which is your highest stream. We also record a secondary stream in the suburb itself, so if something goes wrong with the camera, we still have some footage. And then the third stream is recorded into the control room itself. The fact that we have fibre rolled out into the area as well has led to an increase in speed. The network is a lot more stable than it used to be. And then you have higher transmission speeds, so you get a better quality picture, meaning you can use the full functionality of the various cameras now available in the market.
These 2 gentlemen peeping over the wall there.
But having a variety of surveillance technology feeds doesn't mean anything if it's not being monitored.
We big brother the whole solution and make sure that everybody on the ground is doing their job. We make sure that nobody is missed, because we report directly to our client. Our clients are not the armed reaction company. Our client is Sharonlea. So we're not just looking at a car driving down the road, we're looking at a car driving down the road, driving slowly or unusually slowly. And those kind of
alarms are sent to us as a control room. It's not monitoring hundreds of cameras all live. It's only on alarms. The operator can then acknowledge that alarm and have the appropriate response or appropriate action taken.
Take note, it's urgent. Take note, it's urgent.
I would say the implementation of the cameras with the crime trends inside Sharonlea have played an absolutely major role. It certainly has reduced the crime dramatically, and it's made our lives as a security company a lot easier.
We can pick up what we see are potential crimes. So if somebody is loitering, then we will go and politely ask them what they're doing. And 9 times out of 10, they will be just loitering just to see what chances they have of committing a crime, to be honest. And we've actually managed to stop that and nip it in the bud, as it were.
With a lot of cameras around, you could feel that you're being watched by Big Brother, but fortunately I think they're all facing into the street, and therefore they pick up any movement, which then alerts our security who come and investigate. So I think from that point of view, it doesn't bother me at all.
The cameras were put in for everybody's safety. When people buy here, we actually educate them why the cameras are there. And they help also support the maintenance of the cameras, so they actually want the cameras in this neighborhood, yes.
I think it helps. When they put in the cameras, you feel a bit safer, and they're constantly driving around and making sure that there's always someone. You'll see them driving around all day, all night.
The video feeds that come into the control room is kept in our own data center, where there's no outside access to that data center, no internet access to that data center. We in the control room don't allow the operators to have cell phones in the control room. We don't allow anybody to have access to Facebook or to Twitter. And the footage that we obtain from our client belongs to the client. So we don't distribute that ever, or we don't give it to anybody without written permission from our client.
But setting up and maintaining such a system isn't cheap and requires community involvement.
By paying a certain fee every month, the residents get camera surveillance, they get patrolmen, and we've managed to negotiate well with the security companies and the service providers to give us a good fee that will actually allow us to put the equipment in that's within our budget. We're sitting at something like 420 residences. We have a buy-in of 50% overall, which is not too bad when you compare it to other areas around us who are sitting at 30%. We've put added value to the subscription. In other words, we have got the insurance company Alexander Forbes involved, such that because we have been able to show them and demonstrate that we have a very safe suburb.
Generally, it has the lowest rates, because remember, based on that, they automatically qualifying for up to 10% discount. And bear in mind as well, if we do a quotation for an individual, you also could qualify for up to 20%. We saw a gap there because of the low loss ratio. The security is quite high, as it's access controlled.
Whilst our neighbouring suburbs have suffered what we refer to very much as a flat market, with little or no growth, and in some cases decline, we have found that Sharonlea, central Sharonlea, is achieving anywhere between 5 and 10% growth per annum. And the prices vary. There's a whole range of properties available to would-be residents in this area, from 1.5 million up to 3 million. It has become such a safe suburb that it is on the short list of requests from would-be buyers. So I can't be more thankful for all the efforts that this community has put into their security initiative.
The GSRF is willing to share its lessons with other communities. But in the meantime, it's amongst others considering drone technology as their latest defense. Marisa de Klerk, Joburg Today.